Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I want to tell you a story. One of the stories that my kids and nieces and nephews often tell about my mother is the time people came for Thanksgiving dinner. They had an amazing Thanksgiving dinner. And then, like before we had even left the table, one of them announced that they had to go to another house. They had another house they were going to, but they would be back because the food was so good. My mother said, "Really? Okay." And they left. Somewhere around 10 o'clock or something at night, they came to the door. And I got up and I went to the door, and my mother had somehow, with her cane, she had somehow passed me and beat me to the door. She opened the door. She's like, "What do you want?" And they were like, "Well, we said we were coming back because we went to other people's houses for food and it wasn't that good. This was the best meal." My mother said, "Well, yeah, you knew that when you were wrapping your lips around it." And she shut the door and she was yelling at the door, "You go to somebody else's house. Go back to one of them other parties. We put all this food out and invite you in here and you have the nerve." And my kids still, you mentioned Thanksgiving dinner and they go, "Remember that time, Grandma?" I can't I can't imagine what it felt like to be on the other side of that door. But let me tell you something, I went to sleep laughing. On Christmas Day, I hosted a gathering for folks who said that they were alone, who have difficulty with Christmas, who don't celebrate Christmas, who are going through something now, who maybe were isolated because they have COVID, who had to stay home with the relative, who needed somebody to be with them, who were in the hospital, who there were so many people who were apart and away from. And so they came. And I thought maybe we'd go from 1 to 2:30, maybe at on the outset 3, but this party didn't end until 4. And I invited some of the coolest people to come in and share. And there were people who had been through or who had information on getting out of some of all of the reasons why those folks were at that party. And their participation was like the participation of a crowd when a game is tied up. That crowd makes all the difference. That audience makes all the difference. And they became this other participant in the conversation because it was live. Because as these beautiful guests were coming in, the audience was responding and sharing and giving of themselves, and their questions were vulnerable and open and amazing, and nobody left. Had that been a party for people who had other things planned, we wouldn't have had something to leave for those who couldn't stay the whole time because they had other plans. And so, because of that, it created something that was far better than I could have ever imagined. And if you're watching through Instagram or YouTube, this live is posted on um, on Facebook and Dr. Bertice Berry. If you go to Dr. Bertice Berry, that page, you will find it there. And so I suggest that people put it down, listen to it like it's a podcast. You can put the phone down, don't look at the images. You can drive and just listen. You can put it through your car. You can put it down while you're cleaning you or cooking. You can just listen. One of the guests was so amazing. And the next guest came in and she's like, their story is so good. I couldn't leave, but I had to help with dinner. So I took my whole computer to the kitchen and I was listening there. Just listen to it. Or, sometimes you're going to have to pop in and look because I was wearing some crazy wigs the whole time. It was fun. It was so fun. Anyway, if someone lovingly invites you over and you come and you participate, enjoy yourself and have a good time there. And then ask to take a plate. That's what we do. We always say, "Can I take a plate?" And the host is usually like, "Ooh, yes," because they know that the food was so good. You want to take some of it home. I love you.